We're here with Connor Mural with Team Sanctum. Connor, how you doing today?
I'm alright.
Alright, that's good. So we're doing a deck profile on your Dinomists. This is a very interesting deck. Like, what's the deck based around?
It was kind of something that I kind of made for fun. I guess it's better than I expected. It's basically, I wouldn't quite call it pure Dinomist because I am running Draco Slayers, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it like Draco Dinomist or anything.
Yeah. So we'll see what you're running with the monsters, man.
Like, before I start, I just want to say that I've seen a lot of assessments of Dinomists that say they're big on offense and not so big on defense, and admittedly I have to agree with that, and this does kind of capitalize on the strengths while trying to make up for the weaknesses a little bit. So let's get started.
Alright.
I run one Luster Pendulum and one Master Pendulum, mainly because you can only run the one Luster, and I feel like two of them is enough Draco Slayer support in the main deck without clogging it up. Getting into the Dinomists, I run 3 Stegosaur. Stegosaur for me isn't one of the biggest things you really need, but I do like to have a bunch of 3 scales, and its effect can come in handy. Definitely the next one I run 3 of, Terran. Terran is great. That search effect can really help you in a jam, especially if you really want charge. I play 2 Dinomist Ceratops. That one, I feel like it works best as a scale, although if you really need it, its special summoning effect can help you out if you're in a really tough spot. I play 3 Spinos because Spinos is just really good. It's really good if you want to OTK. Even if you just have one, you can, and you don't have limiter removal out, you can deal a hefty amount of damage to your opponent. Going into the 6 scales, I of course play 3 Plesios. That is one of the most important things defensively in terms of just battles. That decrease effect is just killer. One of my favorite hypothetical boards is 2 scales, 3 charges, 3 Plesios, and full Dinomists. Along those same lines as Ceratops, I run 2 Brachion because its special summon effect can be helpful in a jam, but it's not enough really for me to warrant a lot of them. It's more useful as a scale in my opinion. And then I run 3 Dinomist Rex because obviously it has some of the best effects of Dinomists in my opinion. The double attack with piercing or the compulse with attack gain, in my opinion, is very, very good. That is the end of my monsters. Going into spells, I run Book of Moon. That's pretty self-explanatory. Regeki, same. Limiter removal because it goes great in a deck that's almost entirely machines, and if you play it while you have 2 tributes for Spinos, that's an OTK right there. I run 1 Terraforming and 2 Dynamic Power Loads because I feel like that is a pretty good ratio for field spells. And Dynamic Power Load is very good. I've even found it to be useful against Cosmo due to the no effects during the battle phase effect. I run 2 MSTs. I just feel like the build I have right now, that's a pretty good spell and trap destruction. 2 Aquarium Stage because that can protect all your water monsters from being destroyed by non-waters. Unless you're playing like Mermails or something, your opponent is going to have to get rid of this or bust. And then I run 3 Charge because I feel like you definitely want to see at least 1 in your hand, especially opening, is because like that can really help you if you find yourself with like only half of a scale or a scale but no monsters. Like, that's always good to have. Going into traps now, I run Torrential Tribute and Bottomless because obviously that can help, and in a Pendulum deck, and especially Dinomist, it's not always a bad thing if you lose your board. I run Dinomist Rush. That is a pretty good, especially if you may not have charge, but you have a scale and no monsters. Especially because like your opponent thinks, oh, they just have a scale, and then once they draw, you can bring out any monster. I tend to go for Terran to have it, Plesios if I want to weaken them, or Spinos just to have something big. And then finally I play 2 Eruption, just because it's decent for destruction, and it can combo pretty well with Dinomist Rush. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 1 Tri-Head Dust Dragon, just because that feels to me like a decent rank 4 to run in the deck. Cowboy, because Cowboy for game. Abyss Dweller, because Abyss Dweller is good generally, but it's especially good in a water deck, especially because of its effect to boost water monsters. Magister Paladin, it's pretty good, especially in a jam if you really need a certain pendulum monster for any reason. Castell, Honor Arc, and Dark Rebellion, because all very vital rank 4s. Hopewoven Dragon Spider Shark is pretty good in this deck because it's pretty strong with 2600 attack, and its effect to weaken your opponent's monsters when any player declares an attack is very good in this. And it has the ability to revive a monster when it's sent to the graveyard, so that is pretty good with running Xyz in a Pendulum deck. I run this, Dig Vorzak, King of Heavy Machinery. I have yet to really use him, but I feel like in a situation where he can be used, he is pretty good, considering that he mills monsters and can burn your opponent for it. Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity, because this is a machine deck with level 5s, that's a no-brainer. Ignister Prominence, because in a Pendulum deck this is great, especially if you face another Pendulum deck. And I play Dinoster Power because in a Pendulum deck he's pretty good at defending things.
How many do you play of him? Because most Dinomist players play 1 of him.
I know most people play like 1 Dinoster, so that's why it's always a surprise when people find out I run 3. Even people who know my deck and have asked about my extra deck and seen it tend to get surprised when they pop the first one and I pull out a second one. I feel like it's very good in this deck because it definitely needs protection, and this guy in Aquarium Stage can afford a decent level of protection for the deck.
Do you have a side deck for your Dinomists?
Not currently. I have been trying to think of that, but right now I'm not too focused on the side deck because I'm definitely waiting on Dark Illusion when Ankylos comes out, and because that's at that point I'm definitely going to make some changes to this deck.
All right. Well, thank you, Connor.
No
This is
problem.
Team Sanctum, out.